Oh, hello. It's Chris Old House. Day 11 on this groovy job here in Burbank, California. And I brought with me a tripod to steady the image. I was trying to hold it with my hand, hold it with the hand, but even though this little app I'm using has a stabilization, it's better with a tripod. So we're going to try this today, if it doesn't take up too much of my time. How are you? I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. And behind me is the kitchen. The kitchen and the what is going to be on the schedule for today, which is electrical work. There was a lot of plumbing previously. Now we're on to electrical. I'm going to walk behind me, and hopefully you'll hear me. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. This way. I'm now in the kitchen. We have outlets to do. Actually, I'll go forward. We have outlets to do. We've got lots of outlets. We got outlets. We got, since we've ordered the cabinets, which is wonderful, and they should be here in about 2 weeks. They're really, really nice, and granite countertops and everything. I was a little surprised the homeowners went with such really nice stuff, but yeah, that's what they want, so it's great. This is the kitchen wall that is going to be, move this crap here, it's going to be this kitchen wall. So I've got the refrigerator, got the range, and cabinets above. There's going to be a vent going out the top, and the other cabinets here. So that is going to be on this wall. So what I'm doing is laying out things like, for instance, this is the center line for the cabinet. There's for the vent line that's going to go up. Over here is the outlet to power the microwave that'll be inside that cabinet. If I go down on the wall, there's going to be an outlet there for the to plug in the stove. There's going to be an outlet on the wall here, which is going to be with cabinets above and below. And I have to think about things like the switch that is going to be for the lights under the cabinet, things like that. And let me see, over here, there's going to be, that outlet is going to be above a 30-inch countertop, and then over here is going to be behind the fridge, so I got to put another outlet there. So yeah, so there's a few outlets that have to go in, and I actually have to go in the back now and see what the deal is with the circuits in this kitchen. This is not the original wiring that's in this kitchen. I know they did a bunch of remodeling like 25, 30 years ago, so I want to see how many circuits we have actually run to this kitchen, because you're supposed to have, well, more than one. And if it was ideally you have a separate circuit for the fridge, a separate circuit for the stove, a separate circuit for the microwave, etc., the outlets. We'll see. All right, I checked the circuits for the kitchen, and here's what I found. Everything in the kitchen is on a single 20 amp circuit. That outlet over there, that outlet right there, the stove power and the fridge power is all on the same 20 amp circuit. And then there's going to be a vent or maybe a microwave above there. On the sink side, there's one circuit right there, which is a separate circuit, a 15 amp circuit. I guess that was to the whatever you had on there, and also the garbage disposal under the sink. So the idea would be change this circuit to a 20 amp circuit and add at least another 20 amp circuit along this wall. All right, so here we are at the box at the back of the house, circuit box. What you see here, 2 empty spots were for that room that I took down. If you remember, the outdoor room was just a roof and some walls. And actually, if I move over here, you can see where it was. Remember that over there? Yeah, that's that room over there that was. And come back over here, back to the box. Okay, so there were 2 circuits going to that little room, which are now gone because the room is gone, which means I can use those 2 circuits for the kitchen, which means I can put 2 20 amp circuits in the kitchen. Okay, here is a little pro tip. As you can see behind me, I'm running new BX cable to the outlets in the kitchen, and I'm running new circuits, as I said before. So I have to run wires. They're coming up. They're going to come up from the attic space. That used to be the oven hood. Now it's not. They're going to come over and down instead of underneath the house, because there's big spiders underneath the house. I've seen them. They like look at me like, come on, you'll be fine. Anyway, so often you have to drill through studs. See this? You have to drill through studs. You know, you got to get the wire through there. And I've seen other people with spade bits and the angling and stuff, and shout out to the starving electrician. What I use is the following. This is my solution. Instead of trying to angle yourself, imagine if that was a spade bit, and trying to angle and get it at an angle, and then you're working and trying to get your wire. It's at an angle. It's a big pain. What I do is I got one of these little handy dandy DeWalt dealies. See if I can do this with one hand. See that? It works off the hammer drill there. If actually you don't really need the extension, but it's there, and it cuts the hole at an angle. You get a hole straight through that away. I'd show you, but I'd have to set up a camera, and I got work to do. But as you see, it goes right like that directly, and it's very robust. I've used this thing probably hundreds of times, and it's a tremendous little trick to be able to cut through studs or old studs. I also like this kind of bit because it's got a lot of cutting surface, and it's got that little screw head, so it draws the spade bit through the wood. And when you're using a hammer drill, you're also getting that extra impact. So that's my little tip. And I haven't even had any tacos. Look at all those holes. And that one. Like I said, 2 circuits along this wall. This is just an old outlet that I lowered down. I actually lowered everybody down because they were too high before. I did a more standard height. This is going to be 1 circuit. That's the same circuit. We're going to run power from here to here. This is going to be a switch for the under cabinet lights, which are going to be there. Down here is going to be a separate circuit for the oven. I'm sorry, for the stove, just for the switches on the stove and stuff, because it's a gas stove. And following up from there, it will be the same circuit for the microwave oven, and then running the Romex up through the little attic space I have over to where it's going to marry up with the circuit that I'm going to run from the box. But coming back down here, we're going to have a double outlet here, which is going to be the same, all on the same circuit. And then right here is going to be for the fridge, which is going to be a separate 20 amp circuit. So that ought to work quite well. But there's one last thing I have to do before I leave, which is supposed to be soon. And I'm not looking forward to doing it. So let me show you. This is the ceiling in the, see the living room there? This is the ceiling in the kitchen. That is the old plaster and lath from the 20s. And there used to be cabinets there, so they had run new drywall up to those cabinets at some point. I guess they wanted to put in a new ceiling. But what's left now that I've taken down those cabinets is that, and the plaster that's there is about almost 1/4 of an inch lower. So I have to take all this plaster off, and it's going to be very dusty. Run over to there, and I think over to there. It depends on how it looks. And then one other thing I have to do is, if you see along this ceiling here, there on the right, they left the original plaster ceiling, and here on the left they put drywall, but they they did a very, very bad job marrying the two, and I don't want to have to take down all this plaster because it isn't really necessary. The ceiling is in pretty good shape, but I am going to fix that. So anyway, I'm going to go make an absolute mess now. Thank you very much for watching Chris Old House. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe and hit the little notification bell that you'll see when you do the subscribing. Like, comment because it does help the channel grow. I do appreciate it. I'm not going to do like other people and say, well, tell me what you think in the comments. It's like, no, when you comment, it helps the thing grow. So if you'd like to, please do. If you don't, it's fine. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow on day 12. Thanks again for watching Chris Old House.